Fair use disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. The copyright laws of the United States recognize a fair use of copyrighted content. Section 107 of the United States Copyright Act states, notwithstanding provisions of sections 106 and 106A, the fair use of the copyrighted work includes such use by reproduction of copies, phono records, or by any other means specified by that section for a purpose such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachings, scholarship, research, is not an infringement of copyright. Copyright disclaimer, fair use.
Just as he promised, it was a long speech and touched on a wide variety of subjects.
Yeah, there's a lot to get to tonight. Marcelino Benito in the newsroom with some of the biggest moments from the speech tonight. Marcelino?
Well, Len and Mia, a lot of political theater tonight. It all started with this one moment.
As I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong. Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. To prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Gold-winning hockey team walked into the chamber to loud cheers and chants of USA. Both parties were seen standing, a rare moment of bipartisanship. That, however, did not last very long. Another key moment tonight erupted in the chamber when the president turned to his immigration policy.
You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also...
Shouting broke out in the chamber as Trump defended his immigration policy, saying the government should protect U.S. citizens and not illegal aliens. Trump chastising Democrats for not standing up, calling them crazy at one point. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar seen shouting, "You killed Americans," to the president in response. But one of the most talked about moments of the night came minutes into the speech, and it had a Texas connection. Congressman Al Green, for the second year in a row, escorted out of the chamber. Green got up in protest during the speech and was seen holding a sign that said, quote, "Black people aren't apes," referring to a racist video tweeted out and later deleted by the president, who, by the way, never apologized, and blamed the mistake on a staffer. Here was Al Green shortly after he was kicked out of the House chamber.
I wanted him to know, and I wanted him to see it and hear it up close. But judging from the expression on his face, he got the message.
Houston area Republican Congressman Troy Nehls confronted Green as he was escorted out. You see that in that picture there. Later, Nehls issuing a statement calling Green a disgrace to the state of Texas. Tonight, President Trump speaking for 1 hour and 48 minutes, breaking the record for the longest State of the Union speech ever, a record previously held by Bill Clinton back in 2000. Back to you.
I'm going to read out a book of Matthew 12 and verse 25, and it reads, "And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand." Verse 26, "And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand?" First, I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep, the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness and sincerity. Again, I'm going to say Shalom. It's your brother Yawsop coming out with a video, and it shouldn't be too long. I want to say fair use. We're going to deal with this actually in the open. You see how divided America's been divided for quite some time. I believe America was divided going back into, we can say at least the Obama era, or maybe before that, but definitely around the Obama time, all the way to current. It's a divided kingdom. And, you know, as the book says, I'm going to go into another precept. There's a Mark and Luke accounts. A kingdom divided against itself cannot stand, and America is falling. Okay, so that was in the open. I won't resurface that one. I'll say fair use to that. Okay, America's divided. Let's get some of those precepts, but there's one more video. Let's get Mark 3:24. Let's get the book of Mark, chapter 3, and verse 24. Shalom to the 12 tribes of Israel scattered abroad. Shalom, shalom. Matthew 3 and verse 24. And it says verbatim to what I opened up with, okay? Mark 3 and verse 23. And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And we can see the state of America. It's crumbling, man. And it's only going to get worse. Okay. Verse 25. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. Verse 26. We're reading out of Mark chapter 3 and verse 26. And it says, and if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but had an end. And America's at an end. That's plain. The whole world can see this country is just internally is decaying at Slovakia. It's decaying at a very fast rate now. And this is all that calm before this judgment. Now we know and understand the Lord is granting mercy unto those 11th hour Israelites. Okay, that's how this is looking. But it won't be long, okay, before this judgment hit America in ways that can't be described, okay? It's going to get very, very bad, okay? There's a Luke account, and it's probably going to say verbatim as the others before it. Let's get Luke 11 and 17. Salakia. Let's get the book of Luke, chapter 11 and 17. Okay. We're going to read out of Luke, chapter 11 and verse 17. And it's verbatim like Matthew's and Mark, but we're gonna read it again. Verse 17, Luke chapter 11 to 17. But he knowing their thoughts said unto them, from the top, but he knowing their thoughts said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falleth. Okay. Verse 18. If Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? because you say that I cast out devils through Beelzebub, and if Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom do your sons cast them out? Therefore shall they be your judges. Okay. Verse 20, but if I with the finger of God cast out devils, no doubt the kingdom of God is come upon you. And that's Yahushai, okay? That was Yahushai speaking in this parable right here, okay? Because to the point, America's grossly divided, okay? It's greatly divided, man, and there's no turning back from the curses that's hitting America, right? And the Most High, he's emphatically going to judge this place. But I want to share a video. Okay, I'm going to say fair use, YouTube, fair use, okay? I'm declaring a copyright disclaimer, okay? And this video goes into how bad it is for America out there, especially those outdated warships that is basically sitting ducks. Okay, but again, I'm going to say fair use, copyright declared, and enjoy this video. And we're going to close out with a few more scriptures.
A military delivery has triggered urgent discussions inside the Pentagon, raising new concerns among American naval commanders about whether U.S. warships can safely operate in the Persian Gulf under rapidly changing conditions. The transfer did not occur through public agreements or visible diplomatic coordination. Instead, it unfolded under the cover of darkness, monitored by American satellites, yet ultimately impossible to prevent. According to defense analysts tracking the operation, 5 Chinese military cargo aircraft, massive Y-20 strategic airlifters, crossed multiple regions in a coordinated mission, transporting equipment believed capable of altering the regional balance of power almost overnight. What exactly was delivered remains unclear, but intelligence officials now fear the shipment could significantly complicate any future military planning in the region, introducing new risks for naval forces operating near Iran's coastline and reshaping strategic calculations across the Middle East. 5 aircraft carrying death for American sailors, 5 aircraft delivering CM-302 supersonic anti-ship missiles, weapons specifically designed to sink the aircraft carriers that are the backbone of American naval power, 5 aircraft that may have just made the Persian Gulf a no-go zone for the United States Navy. The CM-302 is not an ordinary missile. It travels at speeds exceeding Mach 3. It skims the ocean surface to evade radar detection. It carries a warhead capable of crippling or sinking the largest warships afloat, and it has now been delivered to Iran, a nation that has promised to use such weapons against any American vessel that threatens it. Tonight, President Trump faces a crisis unlike any of his presidency. The military operation against Iran that seemed straightforward has become exponentially more dangerous. American carriers that were supposed to dominate the Gulf may now be targets, and the pressure on the president from military commanders, from allies, from his own advisors has reached breaking point. To understand why this delivery has caused such alarm, we need to understand what the CM-302 represents. American naval power has dominated the world's oceans since World War II. Aircraft carriers floating cities capable of projecting air power anywhere on Earth have been the instruments of that dominance. No enemy has successfully engaged an American carrier in combat since 1945. No nation has possessed weapons that could reliably threaten these massive vessels. Until now, the CM-302 is China's most advanced anti-ship cruise missile. It was designed with one purpose: killing American carriers. Every aspect of its design reflects That mission, speed, at Mach 3, the missile closes on its target faster than defensive systems can react. From detection to impact may be measured in seconds. Flight profile, the CM-302 approaches at wave-top height, hidden from radar by the curvature of the Earth until it's too late. Warhead, a 300 kilogram semi-armor piercing. Explosive designed to penetrate the hull of an aircraft carrier and detonate inside. Range estimates vary, but the CM-302 can reportedly strike targets at distances exceeding 280 kilometers, far beyond the defensive perimeter of most naval task forces, and accuracy, satellite guidance combined with terminal radar homing, allows the missile to strike specific aim points on a moving ship. A single CM-302 might not sink an aircraft carrier, but a salvo of them 10, 20, 50 could overwhelm any defense, and that salvo capability is precisely what China has just delivered to Iran. The delivery was detected by American intelligence at 0315 hours local time. 5 Y-20 transport aircraft, China's largest, had departed from Nanchang Yaohu Air Base in Jiangxi Province approximately 14 hours earlier. Their flight path took them across Chinese airspace into Pakistan through Pakistani-controlled corridors and finally into Iranian airspace. American satellites tracked them throughout. Diplomatic protests were lodged with Beijing immediately. China did not respond. The aircraft landed at Mehrabad Airport outside Tehran and at Isfahan Air Base facilities where Chinese cargo planes have never previously been observed, unloading. Operations began immediately, and what was unloaded sent shockwaves through the American intelligence community. Missile canisters of dimensions consistent with CM-302 systems, launch vehicle components, fire control radar equipment, and technical personnel, dozens of Chinese military advisors who would train Iranian operators.
Okay. Now that video basically speaks for itself, and just based on the video account, America is being judged, and I'm gonna say this: when that war starts, as the elder, shout out to Elder Bonyamyam from the House of David, he already called it. America's gonna be utterly destroyed in this final World War. It will not be close. It's a video that I didn't find, but I remember a video a while back where they said Russia and its BRICS allies have like surveillance over the United States silos and even the Israeli silos. In the event they try to do something, they're going to get compromised. And ultimately, that Revelation 17 account, the latter end, let's read that. Ultimately, that latter end of Revelation 17 is going to be made manifest, and the great prophecies are going to kick in, chiefly Joel 3 and more. Okay. Revelation chapter 17 and verse 16. We're going to get straight to the point. It says, Revelation 17 and 16, it says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." And that's symbolic, but that's really going into the nuclear destruction, because America's going to be burnt away like Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, in judgment, and we're entering into that time. Okay, verse 17, "For the Most High had put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled." Okay, that's prophetic prior to the coming judgment, because we know when you read Revelations, I say chapter 16 to 20, the nations, they basically made a covenant with this place, but in the end, the nation's going to turn on it. Okay, and that's what this final world's war, okay, Armageddon, the apocalypse, whatever you want to call it, this is setting up at a very fast rate. Okay. Let's get, about to wind it down, be a short one. Let's get Joel 3 and 19, because this is the judgment coming to America. Joel 3 and 19 says, "Egypt shall be a desolation, And Edom shall be desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. Okay, and that's roundabout. That's not just America. Okay, and that has a lot of areas. Okay, not only they shed the blood of the Israelites, that's going into Israel. They lock us in prison houses. Okay, the majority of the population in America's prison system are so-called brown people. Okay, and Hispanics. Okay, and these all go back to the people of the diaspora. Okay, unlike that guy that was escorted out during that State of the Union, he talking about he had a sign talking about something regarding the affliction of black people. There's no such thing as black people. Okay, and there's no such thing as white people. Those are social constructs. Okay, all the mockery and demise and attacks on the children of Israel, there's a judgment coming for that. And so-called America and America in the Middle East, that's going to be blown off the map. It's going out in judgment. It's going to be judged. Okay? See if there's any more. I'm going to read that from the top. Joel 3:19, it says, Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. Now, Judah is really southern kingdom, but that's still dealing with the children of the diaspora. Okay. Let's see if there's any more. Let's get Obadiah. We're going to end it in Obadiah. Okay? But stay up on this global conflict. Do not sleep on this global conflict. Okay? The Lord could extend this mercy period to how long he wants, but I'm not going to say more than 5 years. But again, on that day of the Lord, no man nor day of the hour, not even Yahushua. Okay, but the warning signs are not going away, so you have to pay close attention to these warning signs. We're gonna read Obadiah. We're gonna end it in the book of Obadiah. Obadiah chapter 1. We can start at verse 10. It says, "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever." You had this thing. I think that was at Hunter Community College. One of these colleges right there in New York. ICE went for some more brown people. Okay. Now they may try to cover, some white people so-called died in Minnesota. I believe that Canadian person may have died. They trying to make it look as if they're going for white people. No, the majority of ICE victims are brown people. Okay. Just like the prison houses, that's the majority of brown people. This whole thing has been against the Israelites for many generations. But we're at the latter end of we're at the tail end of Jacob's trouble. It's just hadn't got turbulent enough yet for that trumpet to sound, right? Let's read on. From the top. Obadiah 1:10. It says, "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee. Thou shalt be cut off forever." Okay. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captives his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem. That's just talking about 70 AD, Luke 21:24. Okay, reading on. "Even thou wast as one of them, but thou shalt not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress." Now remember, when you go into Luke 21:24, okay, the siege of Jerusalem, okay, when you do that history, Israel was scattered as a nation. That was the initial diaspora. Okay, until this day, the children of Israel are scattered among the people. Okay, and that just this breakdown cuts the spiritual Israel madness that's being taught in these last days. Okay, by former notorious brews turned Christian apologetics now. Okay, the diaspora happened initially at 70 AD, but the people of the diaspora is in the midst of the other people. Okay, for you newcomers, have an apologetic read the latter end of the book of Ezekiel. Okay, tell you the heathen gonna know. Paraphrasing. Okay, the Lord is going to separate us from the heathen in that day. Okay, let's read on. Obadiah 1:13. Okay, thou shalt not have entered into the gates of my people in the day of their calamity, yet thou shalt not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. That's when the so-called Europeans, okay, they took the giant, it was a giant menorah, they took all our goods, and they scattered, we were scattered into the, mainly the Valley of Ham, but you had Israelites went to other parts of Asia. Okay, that's the true history. And then right into the mid 14th century, there's maps like Negro Land, the Hamites, and all the nations worked as one to gather the Israelites and put them on cargo slave ships via sub-Saharan slave trade, the Atlantic slave passage, the Sukkara passage, and the many passages that followed. Okay, and the children of Israel was scattered to the four corners of the earth. Deuteronomy 20, read the whole account. Okay, chiefly the 68th verse. So we're the people of the diaspora, but our salvation's at hand. Our final exodus is at hand, and soon. Okay. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 14. Okay. Neither shouldst thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldst thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. Remember, the Israelites that remained during the siege, they were destroyed, man. They were hung. The women were ravaged. The kids were thrown against the stones. It was bad, man. Okay. Let's read on. Verse 15. And this is where we are today, currently. It says, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. What you got happening, what's happening right now, current. World War III, Armageddon, proxy. Now, some channels are saying, you know, Iran's already under attack. We hadn't gotten major news of that. It's a lot of, you know, it's a lot of breaking news on just war talk. It's just wars and rumors of war. Okay, it hadn't gotten out of control yet. Okay, before I end it, I mentioned the latter end of Ezekiel. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get the latter end of Ezekiel. Okay. There's an account there's an account here where the Lord literally, I quoted it. I'm trying to find it. If I can't find it in these latter chapters, I'm gonna just pull it out of the classic 20th chapter and 34th verse, if I can't find it right now. So I don't want to slow up the progress. You know what? Let's get Ezekiel 20. I don't remember the exact precept right now, but I know the classic precept right here. Ezekiel 20 and verse 34. Let's bring it out. We'll start at verse 33. As I live, said the Lord God, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out of the countries where you are scattered. There it is. With a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. Verse 35. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people. And there will I plead with you face to face. This is going into the judgment and covenant. Hebrews 8 and 11. Never happened. Not yet. Okay. Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, said the Lord. That's really going into judgment as well. Okay. And I'm going to go to 38 verses for these Christianity sellout used to be Israelites in our community now. Verse 38. Ezekiel 20:38, it says, and I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. Okay, mainly this annoying doctrine where the oppressed and the oppressor are going to get the same salvation. That is a sick cancer among our people to believe something that's stupid. From the top, Ezekiel 20:38, it says, and I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the countries where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and you shall know that I am the Lord. With that, we'll give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai. Double honors to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep, the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness and sincerity. Israel, I love y'all. We got next. Shalom, family.